It's Deep Ellum on air, serving the DFW Metroplex. Only the best in underground and local music.
'Cause me and music are one. You know, music is like my best friend.
Deep Ellum on air.
HiReHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, for a Thursday afternoon here at DeepElumOnAir.com. Alongside me, as he is each and every day, my good friend, my cohort, my sidekick, my partner in crime. We're thick as thieves, as described by such, Jedi Jansen.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
Now I walked into the home studio today, and I couldn't help but notice you were dressed. You're dressed very like you're gonna go chop some wood in the backyard.
I got a big old sweater on, sweater jacket on. I'm cold.
It's cold, man. Yeah. It is cold as balls here. What is going on? What's your temperature? What do you think the temperature is?
It's 64 degrees in the house. I know that.
64 in the house.
Yeah, I don't want to turn the heater on.
I got 47 degrees outside.
Wow.
47 degrees. Like a week ago, it was 90. How do we double? You know, how do we just completely lose half our warmth in less than a week? It was 90. When I went shopping for my kid's Easter basket on Saturday, I bought him floaties. I bought him inner tube rings. I bought him swim goggles.
You know,
I thought it was time to go swimming.
I've lived in a lot of states, and everywhere you go, you hear the same saying, oh, if you don't like the weather, wait a little bit. You hear that everywhere.
That is so true. You hear that everywhere.
But it really does. It's like that here in Texas. Like, for the first time ever, I'm like, wow, it actually is like that.
Well, I'll tell you what. This is what I'll say about Texas weather. And having lived here now over a decade, you do hear that, oh, if you don't like the weather in Idaho, just wait 10 minutes and it'll change. If you don't like the weather in Florida, just wait 10 minutes. No, and they do say that about Texas as well. And I come from the Midwest, where there are 4 well-defined seasons. So what you get in the Midwest is you get a variety of every kind of extreme weather. You get extremely hot in the summer. You get extremely snowy and cold in the winter. Your falls are exactly what Norman Rockwell wrote about falls to be. And your springs are, exactly what you'd imagine springs to be. Here in Texas, we don't have that. Here in Texas, we've got 3 kinds of weather. Really hot, raining, and horrible ass end of the world shit going on. Those are the 3 kinds of weather we have. Super hot, rainy and cool, or end of the world shit going on. And it is so true about here, way more than it was where I grew up. The weather will change on a dime here. On a dime. Well, like I said, it was 90 degrees less than a week ago, and now it's 45. Oh, and by the way, I also have to apologize to anyone who happens to come in contact with my son and I. We are not showering. We did not shower today.
Why?
It was too cold, man.
What do you mean?
Too cold.
Apologizing to anyone? You're just apologizing to me. I'm the only one that's...
I've been to the bank. I may have offended someone in line. We're looking pretty grubby. We're looking pretty, the 2 of us. Because, it came to shower time. Last night it was bath time, and we bailed on bath time because it was just too cold, Last night it was so surprisingly cold for this time of year in Dallas that we had hot cocoa, and we got under the blankets and watched TV on the couch all night. That's what we did.
Sounds great.
So then this morning, when it came time to do a little catch-up with the hygiene, man, he was running around in this Angry Birds hoodie sweatshirt that he's got, and he looked so warm and toasty. He didn't want to get all cleaned up. So we just, we changed the outfits, and we came over here. But it was cold, man. I live in a really cool place, but it's an older building. So there is only heat or air conditioning. Does that make sense? Like, for instance,
Yes.
At some point in the year, they flip a switch, and anytime you turn on your blower, either heat comes out, if it's flipped to blower or heat at the main switch center, wherever that is, main boiler, I don't know. But like they put up these notes in the hallway. Hey, the weather outlook is looking good. We're going to switch over to air conditioning. This was like a month ago. We're going to switch over to air conditioning. And they were right. Like a month ago it was 90. And we needed the air conditioning. But now it's still on air conditioning, and it's 47, so it's cold.
Wow, so you guys don't even have the heater.
No. We got a space heater. I mean, we're doing good. It's not cold, but it's we got a space heater that I've had, and we use that, and that warms up the living room for us to watch TV and sort of cohabitate. Yeah. But there are pockets of cold, and one of the pockets of cold is at the shower. So it's not real enticing when you're standing in the bathroom and you're like, it's cold in here, man. It's cold. I don't know if I want to do that. All right, here's what we do every day at the start of the show. We like to delve onto my Facebook page, John Pugs, John, proper spelling of the word John, JOHN, on Facebook. And I usually put up a little thing inquiring as to what it is that you would like to talk about today. So what I thought I would do, but first, can we play a song really quick? I hate to do this short of a first opening segment, but I have to use the bathroom here. It's just the thought of your warm, toasty bathroom in my frigid, Arctic-like bathroom back home. I'm going to go take advantage of that right now. We'll be right back. Quick song, back with more. It's PMS on DeepElemOnAir.com.
Don't say a thing.
Rights to get bang, rest back
The Better Death, Willow on DeepLMOnAir.com. Your home for all Dallas-Fort Worth local music. Hey, that was a very music break. That was pretty good. That was like a music guy.
Yeah.
See how I did that? And then I cough and totally ruin it all because I am consumed by self-defeatism. All right, here we go. Welcome, folks. It's HireAHero.org. Hire a Hero, helping to re-indoctrinate. Indoctrinate, boy, that's the wrong use of words. Help re-assimilate our brave men and women serving over there in Iraq and Afghanistan back into the working world. It's tough for everybody out there trying to get a job, but some of us believe that there are those among us who served at a time when the rest of us ruined the economy. I'm kidding. I know we didn't do it. We know who we blame. But that's what HireAHero.org is all about. And the Armed Forces Support Foundation, please, your continued support of everything that they do is needed. They provide an essential safety net between where the federal government comes up short because of just poor planning or whatever. Again, we don't criticize the VA. We don't get into all that stuff. We're just there to help. So check them out, HireAHero.org. Donate right there on their homepage if you feel so inclined. All right, thank you. Hey, my kid is here again. Kid, get up on the microphone. I want to talk to you for a second. Pull up one of those chairs. We've got a couple of things we need to discuss here. Jansen and I were just talking about how kid shows, man. That's how you make a lot of money with kid shows.
Do you remember when it really started too, though? Do you remember the kid show, like, mega success? It's Barney.
Barney, yeah, right here in Dallas.
Yeah, I love Barney.
You do?
Wait, Barney's still going down?
Oh, dude. Well, I don't know if Barney
Kidding
is
me?
still going. I don't know if Barney is still in live production, but I'll tell you that those Barney tapes will live on forever. What did I teach you today? Didn't we go over how you got to be nice to these microphones?
Yeah.
Okay, you're very sweet. You're very sweet right now, so I don't want to yell at you.
Sure.
So we wanted to talk about something, right?
Mm-hmm.
You and I had a nice little conversation about someone that you... Who?
Blue.
Oh, yeah. Mason. Now, who is Blue? Tell everybody who Blue is.
Okay.
Don't touch the microphone.
Okay. Blue is a dog. She's a dog about everything I know about her. So I know about her. She likes me.
Yeah, she loves you.
She really licks me.
She really licks you. Yeah, she makes you all wet with it. She licks all over your face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even Block and Sky do it.
Oh, even Bach and Sky, the two dogs here, they lick you in the face too. But you're okay about Blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where is Blue?
She's visiting family.
She's visiting family.
Yeah.
And what's she doing?
She's running and having fun and laughing.
Yeah, she's laughing and she's having fun. And that's nice because we remember how hard it was for Blue to go up and down stairs, right?
Yeah.
Remember how she was kind of an old lady? She was a broken down old lady.
Now she's not.
Now she's not. Now she's woo! She's having a time of her life,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you're happy for Blue, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm happy for Blue.
Okay, good. That's good. I just wanted to make sure.
Thanks.
Yeah. And how about, can I ask you about, oh, here's a nice little commercial. Let's check this out. Mason had Greek food for the first time last night.
Ooh.
We went to, we picked up some food from Stratos, which is like my new habit.
Then we watched the airplanes.
Oh, yes, we did. Yeah, it was raining. I don't know if you remember last night, but it was raining really bad. So we went and we carried out some food from Stratos. A little bit of dinner. Stratos, fine sponsor of this here program, PMS, every day, noon to 2.
Yeah, PMS every day.
Yeah. Stratos, of course, located right there at Northwest Highway in Webb Chapel.
I can't wait to Chapels.
So tell me, you had gyro meat. You had Greek food. What did you think of it?
Good.
Oh, you liked it, didn't you?
Yeah,
First time you had it,
first time.
but it wasn't like chicken, was it?
No.
Was it like beef?
Yeah.
Do you remember what kind of animal it was?
Mm.
Remember, it was a lamb.
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 Yeah.
It was spicy lamb meat, and you liked it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good. What else did you like?
Well, hey, will you give me back my sword?
Okay. Well, all right. I think this is going to wrap up. But there you have it. Even a kid who has never had Greek food before will tell you that Stratos makes some damn good gyro meat. And then we went and watched airplanes. Remember how it started raining really bad last night?
Uh-huh.
Well, the way we get to Stratos from here is we just take Mockingbird up to Denton. in Denton, just, like a mile or so up. And that runs alongside Love Field. So as we were driving in the rain, right out our right side car window was a plane taking off from Love Field. So it was like racing. Remember the plane was racing us?
Yeah.
Yeah, but we didn't win, did it? No, the plane beat us, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it sure did. So we decided we'd pick up some gyro, and since it was raining and thundering, we went over by the airport and we sat there and we stunk up the new car. The new car now smells like gyro onions and all of that. But it was worth it because we sat in the rain and watched planes take off, and you had gyro meat.
Yeah.
Was that a good time? Because that doesn't really sound like a good time to me. All right, Mace, you want to say goodbye to everybody so I can do my show?
Bye.
Okay, say bye-bye, everybody. All right, there he goes.
All right.
All right, kiddo, I'm going to need you to go in the room now, okay?
I need to fix something.
What do you need?
I need you to fix something.
You need me to fix something. On the computer? Did the Aquabats turn off?
No. I was trying to get to more Aquabats.
Oh. Jedi, can you navigate Hulu? And I'll just kick off the next segment. All right. Jedi's going to go help you, so go with Jedi. All right, kiddo?
Thanks.
All right, I love you. I love you.
Love you.
Okay, there he goes. All right, here's what we're gonna do. Sorry about that. It's just it's 1 or 2 weeks, a month or so, where I get to have him, and I know that this is a bit non-traditional, but what about what we're doing is traditional in the least, huh? I don't know. Let's see here. All right, turning now to the Facebook page. This is where we like to jump off from each and every show. We kind of, stick a little questionnaire out there to the audience. We say, what is it that you want to talk about today? So we do that. We try to get to the topic. So let's see here. Ooh, a lot of people participated today. I like that. Let me see. All right, the Exxon oil spill. Colin Wham wants me to talk about the Exxon oil spill in Arkansas. I suppose I could Google search that, but I didn't say anything about that. You know anything about the Exxon oil spill?
Man, I do.
In Arkansas?
You don't know anything about that?
No, man, I don't know how I missed that. I've been
Are you
following North
kidding
Korea
me?
like really close the last 24 hours.
This is another fine example of our media, how they're just not really covering it as much as they should be, number one, and that's probably why you haven't heard about it.
Yeah, probably.
But basically what's going on is there's, the whole tar sands in Canada pipeline, the Keystone.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's leaked. Man, I just deleted the footage too because I was trying to talk about this on V's show Sunday. But yeah,
So this has been ongoing for a while?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody watches more CNN than I do, and I have not heard one word of this.
This happened last Friday.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm talking about it was pouring through neighborhoods. Like
Arkansas neighborhoods?
through suburban neighborhoods, like just a normal, like you would see in Flower Mound, but a river of oil in people's backyards coming out the front. I mean, it looks awful. And
this is Exxon again?
Yeah, and the worst part is, it's like almost there's a media blackout on it. Like you haven't heard of it. They won't let anyone. The latest I heard, they're not letting anyone fly over it, so you can't. They're not even able to take film of it anymore.
And is it an oil spill?
Yeah,
Or
it's
is
through
it-
it's the pipeline. It's the actual the Keystone. Well, I don't know if it's. I'm pretty sure it's the Keystone pipeline, but let me.
I got the story right here.
Okay, good.
I'm trying to find something that speaks to a lack of media coverage. All right, well, here, Salon.com. All right, they're always good for nutshelling these big issues. Big. It's the first time hearing of it. Well, actually, the first I heard of it was when that guy posted it on the Facebook page about 2 hours ago. And I didn't even bother to look it up because I was like, well, I stumbled across it in the course of my news gathering. By now, you already know that at least 84,000 gallons of crude spilled from an ExxonMobil pipeline swamping an Arkansas subdivision on Friday, causing the evacuation of 22 homes. In addition to the loss of wildlife, damage to property, and environmental and human health hazards posed by the spill, it may have implications for the Keystone XL pipeline, currently under consideration. There is a lot more to the story that's important to understand. Here are 6 crucial things. 1, not your average crude. Inside Climate News reported shortly after the spill that an Exxon official confirmed the pipeline was transporting a heavy form of crude from the Canadian tar sands region. Specifically, it has been identified as Wabasca Heavy, Lisa Song writes, which is a type of diluted bitumen or dilbit from Alberta's tar sands region. Although you won't hear any Exxon folks calling it a tar sand. I don't know what any of this means, but it sounds pretty serious. And the fact that we haven't heard anything about it anywhere leads me to think that it's probably even more serious than I suspect. I
got this video. I'm trying to. I got it here, and this guy is basically just driving his car through the neighborhood, and you can just see the oil. So hold on, let me.
I mean, great video like that. I would think, yeah, okay, I'm looking at it. All right, yeah. Is that a river?
So
it's
that
a river of oil.
Is a pipeline that is busted and is flooded the neighborhood. And is going all the way to the drain at the end of the street. Luckily, our house is here, which is seemingly unaffected, but the smell is unbelievable.
Oh, I bet.
I mean, look.
Look at that. That is disgusting. And that's like a
Incredible.
normal, everyday,
And that is
all-American neighborhood. Just oil pouring out of the... Wow. All right. Well, I mean, I don't have enough information to really comment. Other than the video is stunning, and I'm really curious as to why this isn't a bigger story.
Are you seriously? Like, come on. What do you mean you're curious?
I'm curious. I don't know why this isn't a bigger story.
This is a classic example of the media not doing a good job at telling us the pertinent information that we need to know.
Could it also be, though, that the media, at least the electronic media, is in the business of giving viewers what they want, and this is boring, this is not exciting, this isn't Jodi Arias killing her boyfriend in the shower, this isn't Texas prosecutors being gunned down in their living room, this isn't North Korea saying they're aiming missiles at us. This is a bit more intellectual, really, at its core, because it asks us to start to confront the problems of our oil dependency and whether or not we're willing to make the moves to get away from oil, and nobody is. I mean, that's the end result of a story like this. Oil, boy, it's bad. Boy, it's troubling. Look at this. It's difficult to transport. We're going to have these problems. Do we just accept that this is a natural part of being dependent on oil, clean it up and move on? Or, what do? Do we stop being dependent on oil and get off of this stuff?
So what do you think it means if it's true, the reports that they're not allowing people to fly over this area and take actual footage of it?
I don't know, man. I got to say, you get some pretty sketchy news reports from time to time. Like, I remember when we were leaving here one night and there was some breaking news about the Newtown massacre that you laid on me that totally blew my mind. And then I went and, checked it, and it was like,
what
real?
was it? What was it?
I don't know. Something like the guy didn't use any guns or I don't know. It was some, weird, shadow conspiracy article you were reading about. Like, oh, he didn't really do it. It was another guy, but that guy works for the FBI, and the FBI planned it. It was some crazy story.
Yeah, he knows.
Some crazy story that you had. All right. So, at any rate, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting as to why there's really been no coverage. I would think that I would see it. Now, granted, the last few days since Friday, I've been a bit more distracted. Well, with the Streamathon going on, we're doing a lot more of these shows, and so I've been out of my regular news gathering habit. And then since Sunday, I've had my kid, so we don't watch as much CNN. We're on Cartoon Network mostly now. So maybe I did miss it. But no way. I prep for a show every day.
I know, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's on purpose that you're missing it. Mm.
All right, let's see here. Another question off of the... how about some more music, Bet? Give me a little music,
okay.
Bet. All right, something else from the Facebook page. Every day we like to throw up. Hey, what do you want to talk about? Kevin Barber. All right, he's back. He was good. He was yesterday. He's done one every day. This is his thing. Kevin was like my best friend in boy, I just committed to that, didn't I? You know what I just said? He was my best friend. Like some people would go, he was one of my best friends. But no, I gave him the crown there. It's overcommitment on my part. Huh. Yeah, probably freshman, sophomore year of high school.
Nice.
And then, I don't know.
Shout out to Kevin. Thanks for listening.
All right, he says, what's your take on where talk radio is going? Or isn't going, for that matter? Also, what can we, the fans, do to support you guys and make sure that you can continue? Okay, it goes on. No, long-time fan. All right, thank you. What is my take on where talk radio is going? Talk radio, it depends. Talk radio, I think, is in fine shape. It's in fine shape online. It's in fine shape in the form of podcasts. It's in fine shape as far as satellite goes. But when you talk about free over-the-air talk radio, you're going to get two kinds. That's it. You're only going to get two kinds from here on out. Rush Limbaugh clones and guys talking about sports. That's it. You're not going to get anything else. There's that's it.
Yeah.
You will never again get a state. Here, I'll give you a little history lesson. Okay. Jansen, you and I and most of the people who are listening to the show probably came familiar with me through the CBS format of FM Talk. Mm-hmm. That was the Live 105.3 here in Dallas was CBS FM Talk. Now, I'm going to take you back to the origins of that. In Chicago, there was a station called WLUP, which was a talk station on the FM dial that appealed to 18 to 34-year-olds. But it was basically, imagine, crazy over-the-top morning shows all day long. Crazy morning show in the mornings, crazy morning show in the middays, crazy morning shows in the afternoon, crazy morning show from 7 to 10. It was the precursor to what would become the CBS FM Talk Live 105.3 type model. Well, over the course of a few years, as that station in Chicago became more and more popular, they started to lose talent. Talent started defecting. You know, hey, I'm doing middays for $1 million a year, but now there's a guy on the other side of town who wants to put me in mornings for $2 million a year. So they started to defect. And one of the stations they all began to defect to was a CBS station called WCKG. And basically, WCKG built a clone of the previously successful Loop in Chicago. It was also the only station that was able to hold off Howard Stern. If you remember in the 90s when Howard was coming into all of these cities and like kicking the ass of the local superstar, that did not happen. Howard got bounced out of Chicago 3 times before he finally caught on. And when he finally caught on, it was because the Loop had been dismantled. And he caught on the CBS station that was created as a clone of that. So WCKG in Chicago becomes pretty successful, okay? Mm-hmm. So CBS says, well, we can do this everywhere. So WNEW in New York suddenly becomes all talk. LA, KLSX in LA becomes all talk, same kind of thing. Howard Stern anchoring it in the mornings, local talk morning wacky dudes the rest of the day. Finally, it gets down here to Dallas, and Dallas decides to do it. Now, when Howard left, if you remember, and Jensen, you're a part of this, when Howard left the format, CBS completely panicked and almost entirely bailed on the idea of doing FM Talk. They had thought that Howard was the only thing holding it all together, and in many markets he was. But one of the markets where that wasn't the case was right here in Dallas, because when we lost Howard, sure, we had to suffer through David Lee Roth for a couple of months, but eventually what ended up happening was here in Dallas, we got who?
Jagger.
We got Jagger, the show that you were on.
That was when it flipped to Free FM.
That's right. Yeah, another great CBS. You know what? That was all in retaliation to Howard. Pay service. Yeah. We're Free FM. Yeah, but you don't have a Howard, dude. You guys suck. You're stupid. Anyway, Free FM. All right, so we lost the morning show. So Dallas was one of the only markets that could actually survive without Howard Stern, because we had Jagger, who was a big morning show guy who brought a big audience. We had Rush Martin in afternoons, who was holding down huge numbers. Russ Martin was the Howard Stern knockoff in town. He got put on afternoons. Actual Howard Stern was in mornings, and then Kelly and I were in middays, and that was a powerful station. When we lost Howard Stern, we didn't collapse the way all the other formats in other cities did, because we had Jagger, and we moved Jagger in, and we didn't miss a beat. Jagger got, I think, better ratings than Howard Stern did.
Yeah.
At that station.
Dude, there was at one point we were like getting close to Kid Craddock, which is, you know.
Oh, no, we were a powerhouse.
Yeah.
But the problem is that that format was the future of talk radio in America. But what happened was all the other stations, except for Dallas, and I think KLSX hung on for a while, but Dallas even outlasted KLSX. All the other CBS former FM talkers started flipping to sports or something else and blah, blah, blah. And then finally, 105.3 imploded, and then they went to sports. But that's what happened. CBS gave up on the format, and they just decided that, the safe bet for talk radio is to just appeal to 50 and 60-year-old white men driving their Lincoln Continentals on their way to and from golf lessons. That's who talk radio appeals to. But if you look at terrestrial radio in general, that's all terrestrial radio. Why do you think there's so many classic rock stations now? Why? Because anybody, you know who wants to listen to classic rock? A 50-year-old white guy in his Lincoln Continental on his way to a golf lesson. That's who wants to hear Bachman Turner Overdrive. And those are the only people still relying on radio for music. Jansen?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't quite realize how the whole demographics works with when radio stations are setting up. They're looking for the people who are spending the money.
Yep.
That's who they want to try to gear towards. They don't care about the majority. They're looking for the people that are spending the money. That's how they can get their advertisers. That's all they care about now is the dollar.
Yeah, but they've always. I mean, we did a show. My partner and I did a show that was very highly rated in our target demo, which was 25-54 men. But the thing that shocked people was that book after book, we were number one by a large margin with women. Women. And you know what they used to say to us? We'd go, okay, you're number 3, 25-54, so you'll get a bonus there. Oh, you're number 1 with women. It's too bad you don't get bonused on that. They essentially are saying we don't care about women.
Yeah,
we don't give a
exactly.
shit if women are listening. We're glad that you have all the women, because then when advertisers think that we're too controversial, we can take Pugs and Kelly in front of them and say, look at their numbers with women. Soccer moms love these guys, as well as, Bubbas and whatever. But they didn't care.
I know, isn't that weird?
They didn't care. But they're starting to care. Guess who the number one show in all of radio right now, music radio, is? Ryan Seacrest. And guess who he targets? Women. So, they're smarting up. But for years, that's all it was. How do we appeal to the fat, white, 50-year-old man in his Lincoln Continental driving to and from the club? How do we appeal to him? With music, we play Bachman Turner Overdrive. And when we talk about how we hate minorities and how we don't like welfare and all that stuff. And when we talk, or we talk sports. Knock it off! What, you gonna pout now? Sorry, folks. This interruption brought to you by my 3-year-old. What's going on? Hey, don't. Did you see how he's trying to work me? You see the look on his face? He's trying to get me to go, oh, baby, don't be sad. All I said was knock it off. And now he's acting like I just insulted his, hey, buddy. Flinchy. Come up to the microphone. Say hi. I'm not going to do, oh, yeah, because you just don't want to do it. All right, you know what? Then don't do it. Get away. Get away. I don't want you on the microphone then. All right, you know what? This is going to happen. A quick break. We'll play another song. You got a short song. Play a quick song, and then we'll come back.
Yeah, give me 30 seconds. Yes, I got a short song.
All right, in 30 seconds, I'll tell you what we're going to talk about today, okay? Here are all the things that I am prepared to get into. Talk a little bit more about North Korea, the latest threats from them. They're targeting our cities, and they are ready. It's go time for the North Koreans. We're going to talk a little bit about Stevie Johnson and these athletes and their Twitters, their Twitter accounts, getting them in trouble. Stevie Johnson, of course, standout wide receiver for your Buffalo Bills, tweeted that he wanted to nuke New England. Oh, I got a little quiz that I want you to take to find out what kind of person you are.
Okay.
It's the classic Pugs Moran show either or test, okay?
All right.
Well, I will give you a list of either or, and you just tell me which one. Now, I'm not saying which is better. For instance, if I say Coke or Pepsi. Coke. Okay, don't even think about it. Just give me your reaction.
Gotcha.
Right. I've realized that you're a very deep guy with a lot of things I don't know about. So I wanted you to take the either or test.
All right, gotcha. Sounds exciting.
There are troubles in Bon Jovi land. We'll get into that. What's happening between Richie and John Bon Jovi? Rutgers, not done at Rutgers. Let's play some music here. We'll get out. Oh, and we've also got a black dude being a troublemaker. We'll talk about this guy too. All that and more coming up. HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on DeepElemOnAir.com.
Baba, you are amazing. I don't know how any other way to say it, but you are. Everything about you, it's perfect. Would you like some cheese? No cheese? Yes? How do you call it? You're like a Thanksgiving turkey. I think...
Shh. It's over. I'm done.
How can you say that?
I got things to do. I have to follow my dreams and my passions. Be neat. Fiend. Finished. Finito. I gotta live my life. This boat's gotta float. Open road, it's calling me. Spread these wings.
What do you mean? It's over.
I mean, if you want me to sing it to you. I said bye-bye, my love. You know I walk these streets alone. So alone. Into the fire, my love. I'd rather face the sticks and stone on my own. And there she goes, with those wasted days I spent alone. I'm past that shit now. Don't shoot me down. My fears keep chasing me around. Look fast, I'm passing you now. The roads are open and the skies are said bye-bye, my lover. You know I walk these streets alone. So alone. Into the fire, my lover. I'd rather face the sticks and stone on my own. I'm leaving town, not sure when I'll be touching down. Are open and the skies are falling down for the night. I've wasted my mind. No more, no more, no more. I know exactly who's with you. My faith heals no more, no more, no more, no more. I know exactly what to do. I know exactly what to do. The roads are open, the skies are falling down. Oh, I said bye-bye, my lover. You know I walk these streets alone. So alone. Into the fire, my lover. I'd rather face the sticks and stone on my own. I said bye-bye, my lover. You know I walk these streets alone. Into the fire, my lover. I'd rather face the sticks and stones. I know exactly what to do.
Loyal Sally, bye-bye on deepelmonair.com. That's right, we play an awful lot of Loyal Sally. That's because we're shoving them down your throat because they're that good.
Yeah, they are.
Damn, they're good.
Love them.
I'm going to need some complete CDs.
I got a couple for you.
All right, well, let's go.
I'll hook you up. And plus, not to mention the guitar player hosts hungover with
Yeah, he's V's sidekick.
co-host, so yeah,
Yeah.
I love them.
God, they're good. Every time I hear a new one of their songs, and I'm just kind of becoming indoctrinated into the Loyal Sally world. I mean, I've known of them just from being a local band of some renown here in town, and then I became even more aware of them through this station, Deep Elm On Air, and I knew that they had something to do with V. Thank you also to the guys in Loyal Sally for a nice donation to the hireahero.org Project. Thank you to Loyal Sally. So yeah, you're damn right we're going to be playing their music as long as it's good. although I hey, that was Bye Bye.
Uh-huh.
I also like their song Hey Hey.
Yep. It's good.
Do they have any other ones like that?
I think they're all like that. But that's what I love about them. They're very catchy, like you were saying.
Oh
They're very
my
catchy
God, are
band.
they catchy? And look, I'm just playing A&R guy. We are in the Mumford & Sons era. And they definitely could fit in and be molded. You know, you could sell that to a record label as, oh, they're folksy, but they're rock and they're hook-laden. You know, I'm just saying. Very good band. Loyal Sally. Check them out. And listen to them on Hungover with V on Sundays, right here at 11. All right, let's get into this one. Okay, so Rutgers. We talked about Rutgers yesterday. Mike Rice, the former basketball coach, was fired by Rutgers University for being a dick. Really, I mean, that's the best way that I can. Oh, how is he different than Bobby Knight? Because Bobby Knight won. That's why. Mike Rice at Rutgers had a sub 500 record, and he was an asshole. So, you know, we really don't have to tolerate that. But, you know, Rutgers University, they weren't done. Now they're calling for the head of the president of the university. They're a group of teachers, professors, and students have started a petition, and they are looking to, well, basically fire the president, Robert Barchi, I think is his name, president of Rutgers University. And they've got a pretty good reason for wanting to fire him. And that is, they say that he reacted way too slowly to the Mike Rice situation and only reacted after the video went viral and the media started to run with the story. He had possession of that video since December.
Oh, wow.
He had it for since, a few months. Since December. I don't know what the hell was wrong with me there. Yeah, Mike Rice was suspended for conduct unbecoming and all of that stuff. He was suspended back in December for 3 days. So, and then the president said, okay, suspend, swat him on the wrists, and we'll move on. And it was only the other day, like months later, that someone got the videotape that the president had seen. And remember, when the president saw it, the president suspended him. Someone in the media got a hold of the videotape, and they ran with it, and then a day later, they fired him.
Oh,
so do you see what they're saying?
Yeah.
They're saying, hey, Mr. President, you're acting all outraged at that behavior, but we know that the only reason you fired him was because the media found out. You had already punished him for that crime, and it was just a 3-game suspension. So, and you got to look at Rutgers, man. They kind of got a case here. Here's what they're saying. Rutgers, man, this is for such a sort of nothing school, and it's a good school. And I guess it's sort of in the New York, New Jersey region. But I mean, it's been in a lot of news stories. Just you got this story here with the coach going crazy and, threatening players and all that stuff. Then you had, remember the gay kid that got videotaped by his roommate, so the gay kid killed himself?
Yeah.
The bullying, the Rutgers bullying story. And then a couple of years before that, remember the nappy-headed hose, the Rutgers women's basketball team? Yeah. And what the professors and the teachers and all these people are saying about this president was, wow, when it was the women's basketball team, you rallied to their defense right away. But when it was the men's basketball team being abused by their own coach, you basically swept it under the rug until the media found out. Then you fired the guy. But that was only after the media found out. So they do have kind of a case. And I'm not all for firing people for, just a domino effect kind of way to wrap a bow on a nice, gruesome story like this. But, maybe he does need to go. Maybe there's just, because of the recent history, or the not so distant, I should say, history of Rutgers University, maybe this guy does need to go. That's all I got on that. Oh, also, here's the other thing they're pissed about. Apparently they slashed some budget from some department at Rutgers this year. And they've got to pay the coach, Mike Rice, the guy they fired yesterday. They've got to pay him $100,000, a $100,000 bonus, because he survived the entire season. He had something in his contract that said that if he was still employed as coach through January of the 2013-2012 season, that they just had to give him $100,000 as a show of, hey, thank you, we're moving in the right direction. Now, the dean or the president had this information and punished this guy with a 3-game suspension not a firing in December. So, because he was fired, because he didn't fire him immediately, they now have to pay him $100,000. And the people from this department that got slashed are like, are you kidding me? Not only did your reluctance to make this public or reluctance to really come down hard on this guy cost us our reputation yet again, but now we can literally trace dollars and cents as to how you wasted money that could have gone to, building a new science lab, but instead you now have to write a check for $100,000 to the disgraced coach you just fired. And they got a point. This is mismanagement at the highest level. Yeah, well, what are you going to do? All right, here, I wanted to talk about this one because this is a hairy, hairy story. I like to, we live in a very, very, very racial world.
Still?
Oh, yeah. So this is a story that I want to talk about the story, and then I just simply want to delve into the comment sections, okay? And I want to talk about the comments.
Those are sometimes the best.
The takeaways, yeah, it is, yeah. We're going to call it a new race segment. Oh, by the way, I had a great idea for a podcast. I want to call it Race Talk, okay? We do a podcast. We call it Race Talk, and all we do, and you know how easy these guys are to get. All we do is get NASCAR drivers and IndyCar drivers, and it's like, oh, hey, welcome to Race Talk, Jimmy Johnson. What do you think of black people? And we just go right into race talk with them. How awesome would that be?
I get it now.
So they're coming on, they're thinking they're talking race, and we actually do have race car drivers, but we're talking to them about race relations. Jimmy Johnson, 4-time Cup winner, welcome to Race Talk at deepelamadonair.com. Do you like black people, Jimmy? And then just go from there. I think that would be an awesome podcast.
How do you feel about Chinese drivers?
Yes, yeah. You're a driver. Tell me, any truth to the stereotype that the Chinese are horrible drivers?
Hey, that's great.
Yeah. I think that would be funny.
Yeah.
I just think, hey, and you know what? I don't mean that. I mean that in two ways, okay? I think there's a perception that the southern-leaning NASCAR driver might be a bit more bigoted, but that's not really where I'm going. You have interviewed a lot of these guys. We had all these guys on 105.3. These guys are the coolest and funniest of all the athletes. These NASCAR drivers will go with anything. So I just think it would work.
Yeah.
It gets Jeff Gordon in here.
Hey, and you know what?
Talk about the I Have a Dream speech.
Dark Side Sports Radio, they have a black guy on the show that's a huge NASCAR fan.
Oh, yeah?
So that would work. Could get him involved.
Yeah, get a black guy who's also a NASCAR fan. I think look, we're just looking for any way to break through on a podcast. And if I can do a podcast called Race Talk where I interview NASCAR drivers about race relations, I think that would be an awesome podcast. All right, so here's a story. Here's a story that I would discuss. I would love to discuss this with a Matt Kenseth.
With the who?
A Matt Kenseth. A Dale Jr.
Oh, okay.
A police report: a Virginia minister painted racial slurs on his house before setting it on fire. Now remember, the meat of this story isn't necessarily the story itself, because it's a stupid throwaway story about an ass. But the meat is going to be the comments. So start thinking about what the comments might be. A minister at a Virginia church faces charges of setting his house and car in Chesterfield County on fire. Chesterfield County police had investigated the fires as a possible hate crime because a racial slur had been painted on the house. Police believe 41-year-old Olander D. Cuthrell, who is black, painted the slurs on his home before he set it on fire. Police charged Cuthrell on Tuesday with 2 felony arson counts following a joint investigation with the FBI. In a press release, the authorities say that they treat allegations of hate crimes as serious matters. The fires occurred on March 15th. One fire was set on the front porch of Cuthrell's house. The other was set in a car. Cuthrell is a minister of music at the Good Shepherd Baptist in Petersburg. He's being held without bond at the Chesterfield County Jail. Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, I don't know what's going on here. This guy's obviously an agitator. This guy's a troublemaker. Black guy, troublemaker. That's, I don't want to read anything more into it. I don't look at this story and go, see, that's how they all is. No, that's how this guy is. This guy's an idiot. This guy's obviously a troublemaker, and he should be dealt with. I think that if you are concocting a crime scene, fabricating a crime scene, and that crime is a hate crime, and you're just doing that to agitate, boy, that should be something serious. That should be something real serious.
Wait, so he didn't do this to his own church?
No, he did it. He did it to his own church.
Okay.
He scrawled the N-word all over the side of it, and then he set the porch on fire, and then he scrawled, the N-word all over his car, and then he set his car on fire. And then he said, "Why did somebody do this to me? What?" He did that whole thing.
Okay.
So, now that we know that that's what went down, oh yeah, he needs to go to jail. That is agitation on the highest level. That is, boy, I'm all about, us coming together. This division, this divisiveness. We don't need this. We got guys on the white. We got white dudes doing the same thing. White guy, a bunch of white troublemakers. They're out there. We hear from them every now and again. And we got black guys who are assholes too. Look, there is no. It's just sad that the N-word only seems to apply to people with dark skin. Because it does so aptly fit so many other people too.
Yes.
It's maybe that's something. Maybe that's how we dethrone that word. Maybe we just start applying it to all other races, all other people. Turn that word into like idiot. It's just it can apply to anyone without having that extra scary. See, that word is extra scary because it's supposed to only be applied to one type of person, one person with a certain skin color.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so strong. So let's just, let's take it back. Let's start calling white people that too.
I think they should even take it another step and do like a sitcom called like The Niggers or something.
Okay, really? Yeah. Would that, as long as it was done tastefully. All right, son, you need to get out of here, okay? You need to please, we're talking about things that you do not need to know about. Okay? Okay? Ah, boy. Come on, kiddo. Am I going to have to call Boogie? All right, I'm going to call Boogie. Yeah, Jensen's calling Boogie. Stop it. Hold it together and go in the other room. Hold it together and go in the other room, please. Okay. Well, this is awkward, folks. I apologize. I don't know what to do. I'm like a deer in the headlights. I'll tell you, I talk a lot of shit about terrestrial radio, but this never happens at CBS.
Go see if Kat's here.
Oh, no, you got a job, dude. Come on, go see. Go see if Miss Kat's here. Go look at the front window.
She's gonna want to sword fight you.
Oh yeah.
She has one too.
You like Miss Kat. Okay, buddy. Oh, you turned that frown upside down. Look at that. See, isn't that awesome? Don't you wish that we as adults were allowed to be so free and easy with our emotions? I mean, really, what if that was appropriate for us to do?
Is it bad that I actually am?
Well, I have seen you erupt a little bit.
Yeah.
But I mean, look at that. He has no shame right now. He is a future man, just walking around crying. He's still got it. Notice he's still got his sword in his hand.
I'm telling you, dude. As soon as you leave, that's me. That's what I did.
Sounds like a dog. He's like, he'll get over it. I'm trying to toughen him up with this wine and stuff. It's no fun. All right, let's get into some of these. Comments here. All right. Usually, my theory on these comments are that it takes, regardless of what the story is. Okay, we heard the story about the minister who phonied up the whole thing. How many comments before somebody suggests that the president of the United States is responsible for this guy doing it? How many in? What do you want to say? Over or under is 3?
Oh, man.
Is it over 3 or under 3?
I'm going to say at least it's over 3. It's got to be.
You think so? All right. Let's see here. The first one. Here's the first comment. According to super intellectual Chris Matthews, only whites can be racist. Okay. First comment on this story is completely off topic, proving yet again that the average American has no attention span, which is indicative of an overall problem of just being fucking stupid. How does Chris Matthews get involved in this? And you know what? It would be all right if all of the other lemmings that participate in these comment sections just ignored him and then went on with real comments about the story. But no, these people engage him. Next comment. Chris has a mental problem. He needs treatment. But with his years of sick hatred, I doubt if it would help. He may not be able to help himself since liberalism is a mental disorder. And what does this have to do with the story? Where do these people come from?
They're called trolls.
But yes, well, I know what trolls are, but these guys are not trolls because they're interacting with each other. They're feeding off one another. Every single story that has ever been pasted on the internet will have a comment somewhere in the list of comments that blames the president of the United States for whatever it is. It doesn't matter if it was Dwight Howard not staying in Orlando and going to the Lakers. It would somehow, at some point, become the fault of the president. And it is maddening. All right, let's read some more of these. Again, these are all comments. The story is about a preacher, a black preacher, who faked a hate crime on his church. He set a fire. He scrawled racial slurs, and then he called the police and said someone else did it. Okay, so these are the comments. We've been talking about Chris Matthews now for the first two comments. Next one. That's Michael Savage who coined that phrase, and he's writing a book with that very same title. Title being Liberalism is a Mental Disorder. All right, next post. Ann Coulter wrote that book. Next post. No, Savage wrote it. Do your research. Next one. See, I mean, it's insane. This is crazy. This is crazy. I would love it if the comment sections on these stories were really interesting places where smart people would discuss the way the news is covered, the theories. You know, like I said yesterday, what would I like to be? Well, I'd like to be an investigator. And you know, I like these crime stories, and I like to go in the comments. And some of these, you know, stories, some of these sites that like Smoking Gun, the comments are always like junior detectives. You know, it's like people trying to figure stuff out. It's great. You just can't have that in the regular newspapers or anything that you link to in the mainstream media. You can't, because it's all these crazy people. All right, I'm just gonna randomly go. There's like hundreds and hundreds of comments. I'm gonna go down.
We haven't got to Obama yet, though.
Yeah, no, Obama. I'm so disappointed. He promised he was only going to drink Obama's Kool-Aid. All right, so that's the first one. That's still in. They got to Obama on post 4. So if you had taken the over on 3, you would have won.
Okay.
But it was 4. But it wasn't Obama in relation to the story. It was Obama in relation to Chris Matthews, somebody who was posted about completely randomly at the start of this thread. So they're not even. God damn, it's insane. If you ever had any hope at all for humanity, don't read comment sections. It just makes you. And you know what? Look, I know I am smarter than the average person. Jansen, you are smarter than the average person. Most of the people who listen to this show, who I engage with on Facebook, they're smarter than the average person. The average person can't wait to get home and watch Honey Boo Boo or Celebrity Diving because it's funny that Louis Anderson is fat and makes a big splash.
Wait, there's a show called Celebrity Diving?
Dude, you don't even know that show exists. That's the world you live in. Yes, ABC now has a show where D-list celebrities dive off high dives.
Oh, my God.
And Louis Anderson is one of them.
And that, my friend, is why I'm glad I don't have a TV.
It's hysterical because he's fat. It's so funny. It is so funny that the fat guy makes such a big splash. Dude, it is so funny. What, right? I mean, what is wrong? I don't. All right, so I'm going to get off that. We're going to get off that subject. We'll move to,
What's the test?
Oh, yeah, we can do that test. Oh, let's see. We got through the Rutgers stuff. Maybe we should do a test. Oh, I want to talk about Stevie Johnson really quick, and then we'll take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll do your little test. We'll find out what kind of person you are. Stevie Johnson, wide receiver for the Buffalo Bills. This is funny. After the news that North Korea had gone to a certain degree of readiness and was threatening to bomb us in the next 2 weeks, they're making all kinds of crazy stuff. Oh, but North Korea also, quickly on this subject. China, we're worried about, we don't know what China's doing. North Korea asked permission to send an envoy to China. Yeah, and China said, no, you guys just got to calm down. And China also, I hadn't realized this, but China last week, they signed on with the UN with the sanctions against North Korea. So China, from all their official, statements and stuff, they may be beholden to defending the Korean Peninsula because of this treaty that they signed years and years ago.
Okay, I wanted to talk about that. Talk about that treaty real fast.
China, well, it was the basis for the Korean War, which is why we had the Korean War. China basically told North Korea that because North Korea was communist, North Korea promised to be communist. China is communist. China is completely surrounded by non-communist countries that all have American military bases on them. South Korea, the Southeast Asia, Japan. I mean, that's all we got. We've got China totally surrounded with our missiles. So China needs someone in the region. So China has been sort of backing North Korea and all the craziness that goes on there. Because China doesn't want a reunited Korean peninsula. China doesn't want the entire place to be America's friend. Because then now we're on the border. Now we are literally on the land. If Pyongyang becomes an American military base, which is what China doesn't want, that's just too much pressure on China. They got to keep it. So they signed a treaty with North Korea years ago that said, look, don't you worry about your military. We got your back. You get in any trouble, China is going to sign right here. We're going to defend you in any war that you find yourself in, as long as you're attacked.
Yeah.
So that's what's happening. But China also sided with the UN, saying that these actions, these nuclear threats, and these repeated missile tests, and all of the stuff that North Korea is doing that's got the international community on edge. China went along with everybody else and said, "Yeah, let's starve them out. Let's put more sanctions on them." And then just today, China was asked if they would receive a special North Korean envoy to discuss the situation, and China said, "No, we will not. We're not going to discuss this with you. You figure it out. You're right." Basically, it sounds like China is saying to North Korea, you are being a massive dick. Calm down, because you're going to start a huge fight here. Stop it. And that's what I said all along we need China to do. We don't know, nor does anyone suspect, that China would make that public if that does happen. But just these little stories are suggesting that maybe behind closed doors between Pyongyang and Beijing, that they're actually having those kinds of talks.
Now, from my understanding, if North Korea does do something, in all likelihood it's going to be to the south. And these guys...
Japan is a little concerned as well. Samoa, I think, is one. American Samoa.
Yeah, in Guam, right?
Yeah, places like that.
So, but a lot of people don't quite understand. We make all these jokes about North Korea, with their failed missile launches, but they have a 1 million+ strong army.
Starving. They're all starving with no shoes.
Starving, but the
no bullets in their guns.
The one difference between our soldiers and theirs, when our soldiers are kids, they're going to school learning normal stuff. Their kids are learning hate. They're not well trained. They're well drilled, but they're not satisfied. They're all beat down. They're like a prison army. A prison army is never going to serve loyally. A well-trained, modern, Western military force is just going to carve through them like a hot knife through butter. They're talking about they don't even know if they have bullets for all their guns. Because they can make the guns, but they can't make the bullets in the amounts that they need. And because of all the sanctions over the last 20 years, they can't remember. No one can remember the last time officially bullets got delivered to Korea. So it's like, it could be hollow. He's saying he's going to launch the missiles in the next 2 weeks, and everyone else in the world is going, "We saw the last 2 practice launches you made. You failed both times. What do you mean you're going to launch? You have never successfully launched a rocket." But now you're going to... Well, what about the satellite they put in space?
North Korea put a satellite in space? Mm-hmm. Maybe I think that's different. I think shooting a rocket all the way up into orbit and putting something into space is much easier than actually targeting an intercontinental ballistic missile. Being able to make a missile go up and then go land specifically in another point on the globe. That's what they don't have. They don't have the guidance. But I imagine that the satellite that they put up there is to help with the guidance systems for those other kinds of missiles. Because there's a blockade on them. They need their own satellite. They're not using anybody else's. Nobody else will let them. That's what sanctions and all the stuff that North Korea has been suffering under. Shouldn't say that. That they've been dealing with.
Did you see the report about Anonymous hacking into North Korea?
No.
Oh, you didn't see this?
No.
Oh, yeah, this is the latest thing. Anonymous took down their Twitter account and their Flickr page and put up a picture of Kim Jong the son like looking like Mickey Mouse. And, just a couple of
craziest things are so insulting to those people.
Yeah, and but yeah, Anonymous
You
took
will
him
not make
down.
me look like Mickey Mouse. Like me. Yeah, put a picture of me up looking like Mickey Mouse. Like, it's
I
funny.
love it.
But
I'd make it my Facebook
like,
page.
dictators are so sensitive to that kind of thing. You know, I bet he really took that personal. Like, that is just so, you say I look like a rat. You know, like he just could not fathom that. That's funny.
But yeah, that's the latest thing. The Anonymous took him down.
But, you know, that's what I worry about. I don't worry about their army being able to land on our shores and, you know, please. They're small. They're small people.
Well, but yeah,
You know,
we're not as far as our country, but the South, South Korea, I'm sure is a little anxious.
Oh, yeah, and they should be. And we got 100,000 Americans right there that should be anxious as well. American soldiers defending the border. All right, so here's what we got. So because of all this news, Stevie Johnson, he tweeted, you know, Buffalo Bill, Stevie Johnson. Bills wide receiver Stevie Johnson would rather North Korea not bomb anyone, but if they're going to, he's got a suggestion. Johnson posted on Twitter on Wednesday that North Korea should bomb Foxborough, Massachusetts, home of the AFC East rival New England Patriots, if they decide to go to war. Here is a copy of it. Let's see here. Here it is. Here's the original post. War is nothing to be played with. I apologize, North Korea, but if y'all do bomb first, bomb Foxborough, Mass. Sincerely, Pound, Bills Mafia. All right, look. Cut him some slack, man. That's cool. You want your players. See, here's the thing that's missing from pro sports these days. Actual rivalries.
Yeah.
Fans of the Dallas Cowboys hate fans of the Philadelphia Eagles. But I'll tell you what. The Philadelphia Eagles don't hate the Dallas Cowboys, and the Dallas Cowboys don't hate the Philadelphia Eagles. After the game, they're going to the same club together. You know, they're through free agency, they'll probably end up playing for these teams. This is cool. Stevie Johnson is like being a part of the fans. He's, you know, acting like he hates the rival. He doesn't care. Hell, he would go to Foxborough. He would become a New England Patriot in a heartbeat. He's a very talented football player, and he's being wasted on a really bad Buffalo Bills team. So, you know, he's playing with the fans. Oh, it was insensitive, and he obviously... Of course it's insensitive. He's a football player. He's a 27-year-old kid who gets paid millions of dollars to play football. Of course he's fucking insensitive. Have you ever hung out with these guys? Have you ever gone to a bar on a Sunday afternoon and listened to the way the average 27-year-old American male behaves? And they're just the football fans. Of course it's insensitive, but it doesn't make him a bad guy. It makes him a kid. And it's funny, and I think he's doing the right thing. He's playing to his own Buffalo fans. All right, let's take a break here. We'll come back. We're going to give you a test. Got a little test we got to go over with you. It's the either-or test. Basically, we just find out what kind of guy Jansen is. See, I guess I really don't know much about you at all, because every day I seem to find out something new. I thought this would be a good way to really cut through all of that and get right to the core of who Jedi is. We're going to play either or with Jedi when we come back. It's PMS, the Pugs Moran Show, brought to you by HireAHero.org on DeepElemOnAir.com. Reinventing Jude, deepelemonair.com. Local music first, foremost, forever. Yeah, I just made that up. That's not bad. That's not a bad bumper
like
sticker. That ain't bad at all. PMS, Pugs Moran Show. Hey, that's me. HireAHero.org presents PMS every day, noon to whenever. This week, of course, we're starting at a different time, too, because I have my child, and it's just easier this time of day. All right, something I wanted to... Jansen, one more thing that we're going to do today before we administer this little test to you. There is a new phenomena that we've never seen before, and it's happening now, and it's been happening for a few years, and I believe Cher was like the first one that we got to watch go through this, but we are in an era now where we are watching children of popular movie stars, rock stars, and celebrities, children coming of age and for the very first time coming out of the closet. And we're getting to watch celebrity parents deal with their children coming out of the closet. It's a very interesting sort of social thing. I mean, Cher was, I guess, cool with it, but she was really like the first one. And I bring this up now is because there's a big story going on about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's son, EJ, who, if you're a Magic Johnson fan or an LA Lakers fan, you might remember EJ. EJ did commercials with Dad back in the day. He was always seen at Laker games. Cute kid, kind of a fat, pudgy kid with big glasses. You know, it looked really cute. Well, EJ's gay. And Magic Johnson is now giving interviews talking about how his son came out, what he said to him. So I thought we'd listen to that. There's some really cool audio there.
Oh, okay.
But first, let's get into this either-or test, okay? Now, this is just a little thing that I devised through hours and hours of countless research into human nature and just an overall... I'm an anthropology buff. Wait, what is anthropology? What is that?
I thought that was like bugs.
No, that's arachnobiology. No, well, whatever it is, the study of people and human development and cultures and all of that. Anyway, so I've created years and years of strict and disciplined research have gone into creating this test. Okay, it's called the either-or test, and this is because I realized I don't know you. I mean, every couple of days you're like, yeah, man, I got stabbed. Yeah, dude, I was an astronaut. You know, it's like you're like, there's like all, yeah, dude, I was in law school. I mean, it's always something new where it's like, wow, I guess I don't know Jansen at all.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you gotta keep in mind before I started doing.
Yeah, dude, I survived breast cancer. I mean, it's always mind blowing stuff.
I was about to be, a soldier in Cavalry Scouts, so I was preparing for that. So I did a lot of time preparing for that.
All right, so here we go. Quick run through. Remember, I don't want you to give this much thought. These are just the first ones that come to your mind. Either or, okay? Daffy Duck or Donald Duck?
Donald Duck.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's interesting. That's, I'd have had you pegged for a Daffy man. But you go with that. Is there a reason maybe? Because I know it's the first question, and I won't stop after all of these.
Because I, as a kid, I went to Disneyland, not Disney World, and I bought one of the big Donald Duck hats.
Really?
Yeah, had the bill that was his face and everything.
But isn't Donald kind of... All right, so here's where I come down on. And again, I'm not going to do this for all of them. I'm just giving you an example of what the test is. See, Daffy is the insurgent one, man. Daffy is the... Bugs Bunny, Looney Tunes, they were the answer to Disney's Mickey and Donald and all that. And they were like the edgy ones. Yeah. They were like the troublemakers. Bugs Bunny was a troublemaker. Mickey was more, look at me. Mickey Mouse. I mean, he's very like sort of namby-pamby. So it's interesting that you went with the safe one. All right. Okay, well, here's the follow-up. Bugs or Mickey?
Bugs.
Yeah, Bugs is cool. Yeah. Hey, who doesn't like Bugs? Oh, by the way, we had a breakthrough moment with Bugs on my kid. We were going through movies to watch on demand, and he'd never seen that. What's that movie? I Believe I Can Fly.
Oh, yeah, with Michael Jordan, right?
And Bugs Bunny. Space Jam.
Space Jam, yeah.
He saw Space Jam for the first time the other day. He's like, I don't want to watch Space Jam. And I'm like, you're going to like Bugs Bunny. I don't like Bugs Bunny. He's stupid. He'd never seen Bugs Bunny. He didn't know. So I just said, well, you have no choice. And I put it on. So he threw his little temper tantrum for a couple of minutes. And then finally, when he calmed down, he sat on the couch, watched Space Jam from beginning to end. We've seen it like 3 times since then. That's all he wants to watch now because he loves Bugs Bunny.
I wish he had the option of Roger Rabbit. That's who I would have picked.
Oh, okay. All right, so now let's go on a tear here.
Okay,
Let's run through these. Leno or Letterman?
Leno.
Playboy or Penthouse?
Playboy.
Mustang or Corvette?
Corvette.
Vodka or whiskey?
Vodka.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Beatles or Stones?
Beatles.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Thanksgiving or 4th of July?
Thanksgiving.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell?
Adam Sandler.
Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian?
Oh, God. Neither.
Come on, it's not a think about it. It's a which
Paris
one?
Hilton.
Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Scorsese or Spielberg?
Spielberg.
All right. No, we're going to run through them one more time, okay?
Okay.
I'm just going to check for consistency. Donald or Daffy?
Daffy.
You said Donald last time.
I know because
Did I talk you out of it?
No, well, hold on. So Donald is with
Mickey.
Donald is Disney, right? Okay, yeah. So no, Donald. I like Donald.
Bugs or Mickey?
Bugs.
Leno or Letterman?
Leno.
Really?
Yeah, well, only
That one
because
shocks
I
me,
watched
too.
I watched Leno with my grandparents. Like that was their thing, and
All right.
before my granddad died, we'd always watch it.
But that's like Leno. See, I draw a comparison.
And I love jaywalking too. That's
I would think that if you liked Daffy Duck over Donald Duck, you would like Letterman over Leno. And if you liked Bugs over Mickey, I would think you would like Letterman over... Because Letterman's like Bugs, whereas Leno's more like Mickey. Huh? You about to get here? Boy, that was a weird combination. I don't do imitations at all.
I got it, though.
Yet I tried 2 pretty difficult imitations to combine as one. I don't know what I'm doing here. All right, Playboy or Penthouse?
Playboy.
See, really?
Yeah, it's more classy.
But so what? I mean, this was supposed to take you right back to 13 years old. You know, you weren't supposed to be thinking about it. That's how I was trying to get, like, in your mind.
Oh, well, I
Come
didn't
on,
know.
Penthouse. You found a Penthouse, dude, and it was a good day. You found a Playboy every week. You find a Playboy under your grandpa's bed. You find a Playboy. You find a Penthouse, man.
I got a story of that. As a kid, we were going through like some trash of this apartment that was down the street, and we found a box of Playboy. It was awesome.
Yeah, we've all been there, man.
And I would.
That's a good day.
We would look. I was probably 10, and we would look at the boobs, but then when it would, we would look at the everything else. We'd be like, whoa, and we'd like cover it up,
Man, we found something.
But I can't even imagine as a kid finding a penthouse. It would like
Penthouse,
blow my mind.
Hustler. Oh yeah, those were like whoa.
I would have been warped.
Now, I had a situation. I don't know that I've ever told this story before. I don't know. I'm sure that. I mean, maybe I was hesitant to tell it. I don't know. All right, check this out. We found. All right, there was this guy. There was this guy that I was kind of friends with, who I went to school with, but I didn't. It's like for like maybe 6 months out of my life we were friends, but then we didn't really. And we were like rummaging through his dad's closet, and dude, we found. Okay, good. The kid's gone. We found, and we were only like 10, 11, 12. We found the most graphic. It had to have been illegal porn. It was like awful stuff. I mean, it freaked me out for years.
See, exactly.
It was just not right. It was, and I try to think back now. I'm like, was that like kiddie porn or something? What the hell were we looking at?
Man.
Because it was weird. I remember it was in like, but then again, 1979 or whatever, early 80s, whatever it was. The porn wasn't the way it is now. I mean, if a lot of people did have just naughty pictures in a manila envelope, and you dump out the envelope and they were just like pictures, like really grotesque.
So was it like bondage stuff or?
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember specifically anything. It's like my brain wouldn't comprehend it. So there is no, I can't even draw up like an image in my head that would represent it. All I know was that it freaked me out. And that now as an adult, when I think back on it, I think of the stuff that I've seen as an adult, and I think that stuff was worse. I mean, I think the stuff that I saw when I was little must have been worse because I don't remember it, but it's just ingrained in my head as like the most awful thing I ever looked at. And you know, the mind does that. The mind will completely erase something that's useless and just traumatic. And then, you know, you blame all your problems as an adult on the fact that that chunk of your history is missing. And then you go to a therapist, and the therapist brings it all back up, and you feel awful again. I never understood that. Oh, yes, we uncovered some repressed memories from traumatic events when I was a child. Oh, good. So you paid someone $100 an hour to relive those memories that your body had naturally taken care of and stored away so you didn't have to deal with it.
Well, according to my shaman in New Mexico, it's very unhealthy to be storing those kind of things. It creates very negative energy.
Really? Because according to me, that's the only way that a lot of people can make it through life. Just turn a blind eye to all the bullshit that falls in front of them and keep trucking.
No, you gotta.
You've seen the bumper
you gotta
sticker,
let it out.
Keep on trucking, brother.
You gotta let it out. It's like
bury it deep.
It's like you're a cup.
Bury it.
And it starts filling up, and then what happens when it's filled to the brim? One little drop gets in, and a whole bunch splashes over. That's
nah, man. Bury it deep. Bury it deep in concrete.
So when you get drunk that night, it comes out flooding, and you're like, oh, what have I done?
Hey, dude, you know what? If I got to live a life where 364 days a year, I am like Ward Cleaver, but one day a year, I can just go nuts. Yeah, you know what? We'll pick when Jimmy Buffett comes to town. That'll be... That's how most of America's dentists and accountants do it. 364 days a year, they're really calm, except for the weekend Jimmy Buffett comes to town. Then they're idiots again. All right. So let's finish up the test one more time, okay? I want to run through it again. Donald Duck or Daffy Duck?
Donald.
Bugs or Mickey?
Bugs.
Leno or Letterman?
Leno.
Playboy or Penthouse?
Playboy.
Mustang or Corvette?
Corvette.
Vodka or whiskey?
Vodka.
Beer or wine?
Wine.
Winter or summer?
Winter.
Beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Beatles or Stones?
Beatles.
Thanksgiving or 4th of July?
Thanksgiving.
Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell?
Adam Sandler.
Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian?
I'm gonna go with Kim, actually.
Yeah. Well, they're both they're both fine pieces of woman. They're fine specimens. Irritating, yes, I'll give you that. Coke or Pepsi?
Coke.
Spielberg or Scorsese?
Spielberg.
All right, I'll give you mine really quick, okay? Daffy Duck or Donald Duck, I go with Daffy. Bugs or Mickey, I go with Bugs. Leno or Letterman, I go with Letterman. Playboy or Penthouse, I go with Penthouse. Mustang or Corvette, I go with Corvette. Vodka or whiskey, I go with whiskey. Beer or wine, I go with beer. Winter or summer, I go with winter. Beach or mountains, I go with mountains. Beatles or Stones, I go with Beatles. Thanksgiving or 4th of July, I go with Thanksgiving. Adam Sandler or Will Ferrell, I go with Will Ferrell. Paris Hilton or Kim Kardashian, I go with Kim Kardashian. Coke or Pepsi, I go with Coke. Scorsese or Spielberg, I go with Scorsese. All right. Yeah, well, you know, we were right on, you and I connected on more than 70% of them.
All right.
So that's pretty good. A couple of differences.
The whole Will Ferrell thing, he was great on Saturday Night Live. And, you know, definitely better than Adam Sandler was on SNL. But other than that, I just haven't been really a big fan of his movies that he's done.
Really?
Yeah.
Will Ferrell? I don't know. He just. There are a few people in my life, comedy-wise, who all they have to do is be shown, and I will start to laugh. Because they're just funny in that way. One of those people is Bill Murray. But Bill Murray doesn't have to say anything, but if the camera is on him, I know he's thinking something really funny. Therefore, I'm going to start snickering in anticipation. Will Ferrell has become one of those people. Will Ferrell has become one of those guys that I'm just going to start laughing. So I go with him. You know who else is like that too, though? I had to add somebody else, that Bill Hader. You know who Bill Hader is?
No.
Bill Hader from Saturday Night Live. Very funny. Very funny guy. If he is on screen, he doesn't have to just train the camera on his face. He doesn't have to say a word, and I will start laughing because I know something funny is about to come. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap this show up. Actually, what we'll do when we come back is we'll listen to Magic Johnson handle his gay son, his big, gay, flamboyant son. You know, Magic almost had to handle this head on because there was no mistaking that EJ was a gay man. He's not hiding it. He's loud and he's proud. We'll come back It's PMS. HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. We'll take a quick break and rejoin on DeepLMOnAir.com.
Dancing in the sunshine, you know I want you with your supernatural, sexy, sensey smile. Your scent drives me wild, and I know that eventually you'll be taking care of me. All the love and that we need, it's growing.
Trying to make a better way. Love and happiness, pain and sorrow has its place. Looking at yesterday, tomorrow is a brighter day. Your scent drives me wild, I can smell you from a mile away. Keep a smile on my face, your cries in my face. When we come from the West Coast, I love how you taste. I'm not selfish though, I take you by any place. We wanted to have a good time, wish I had to with you. I know it's coming in due time. We smoking on something like new kind. Sipping on red wine, I love your blood, darling, yeah, you my true vine. You keep starting. Darling, you know I love your sweet buzz. Been thinking about you daily. I'm dancing in that sunshine. You know I want you with your supernatural. I'm supernatural. I'm sexy, sensey, smile. Drives me wild, and I know that eventually it could be taking care of me. All the loving that we need is growing, that is growing,
HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show. Heard every day on DeepLMOnAir.com. Jansen, I'm a little bit bummed out.
Why is that?
Well, I've been hit with the realization that... Shut up. Been hit with the realization that this is the first show that I will have ever done that Roger Ebert probably won't listen to.
Why is that?
He died.
No.
Roger Ebert died today. Just been announced by CNN. America's film critic of record for the better part of the last 3 decades.
No kidding.
Roger Ebert. And now, this is my dedication to total honesty, okay? I knew Roger Ebert. I can't pretend that I knew him well. But we crossed paths a number of times while I was a producer in Chicago radio, and Roger Ebert was a regular guest on Chicago. He's a Chicago guy. He lives there. You know, that's where he was based. He wrote for the Chicago Sun-Times for a number of years. He was their guy. And he was kind of a dick. He was like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he was. Look, I love the guy. He's like iconic. You know, if you're a movie fan in America, Roger Ebert is iconic. And you're always going to have mad, crazy respect for what he did. He created, him and Gene Siskel really took what was a stodgy, like Broadway reviews kind of thing, the film critic job, and he brought it to the mainstream. After Roger and Gene Siskel had great success, suddenly you started seeing big, movie critics popping up all over. So, I mean, he really is extremely important to what he did in film criticism and film writing about film and the whole celebration of film. But he was kind of mean, man. He yelled at me a number of times. He made me feel like crap a couple of times. He was pissed. Like one time, there was a show on our station that was doing this bit where they had to go through, they would find local Chicago celebrities and then they would go through their trash cans live on the air. Okay, stupid bit, obvious invasion of someone's privacy, something that you really cannot do. Well, I was a part of the morning show and we found out that the nighttime show had done this to a number of Chicago celebrities and we were appalled and we were like making fun of the show. We were like, oh no. So one of the people who had been who had complained to the station, found out about it and complained to the general manager, was Roger Ebert. And because Roger had been on our show a number of times and was presumably a fan of the show was called The Kevin Matthews Show, we assumed we could call Roger for comment. So I called Roger Ebert at like 8:30 in the morning one morning after this had happened. Apparently it went down on Friday, and he'd called over the weekend to our general manager. So now Monday morning, the morning show producer calls him up. Hey, Mr. Ebert, this is Pugs with the Kevin Matthews Show. Yeah. Look, we were wondering, you want to come on? You want to talk about what happened? We are appalled at the actions of that show, and we'd really love to have you on to comment on it. Let me tell you something, Pugs, if that is your real name. He said real dramatically to me. And I was like, oh, God, Roger Ebert's gonna go off on me. And he did. Awesome. He went off. Not only will I not participate in any discussion about what was done to me and my family, but I will be seeking the advice of an attorney, and anything that I say to you from this point forward will be part of the official record, and you will, it just made me, I was like, well, Mr. Ebert, we are sorry, and this is sort of our attempt, at offering an olive branch and saying, look, we don't want any trouble. They will be dealt with. Do you have the authority to deal with the offending partners? No, I don't. Then you're wasting my time. Good day, sir. Click.
Wow.
And he hung up on me. And then a while, I don't know, a year later or so, I had him in the green room. I'm like, Mr. Ebert, I go, I would just once again like to apologize for a conversation that we had a year ago. And I reminded him of it. And he goes, completely incidental in my life. I don't remember it. And then he went back to reading, and I said, well, at any rate, on behalf of the show, I would like to extend our deepest apologies. Wow. Are you still talking? And I went, okay, Roger. All right, Mr. Ebert, we're going to have you in here in a couple of minutes. I know.
Wow, what a dick.
He's like a dick to me twice. But then everybody else, every other story that you are going to hear about Roger Ebert today is going to be what a great guy he was and how nice. And that may be true. But unfortunately, I happen to have, maybe I'm just one of those people that he hated. Maybe there's just people out there that you just see on sight and there's something about him you don't like and you just hate. Because we were just not, I too horrible. And he was like, he was an icon. I would have treated him with just the utmost respect and courtesy. And no, he treated me like a jag. And I probably was. But yeah, very sad. Roger Ebert has passed away. But you know what? How do I say? He'd been sick for a long time.
Yeah, he wasn't looking too well.
Yeah, no, well, he had his whole jaw removed, and he had like some really terrible kind of cancer, maybe thyroid cancer or something. And yeah, he stayed active right up to the very end. He learned how to write reviews. He started blogging where he didn't need his voice and he didn't need his, he did stuff still on camera, and he always wore like a turtle. And it was very uncomfortable. But yeah, maybe he's in a better place. I don't know. I don't think so. He seemed to have been very active right up to the very end, and he seemed to be dealing with his new handicap exceptionally well. He was still producing books and writing reviews on all the movies and seeing them, So
now, what did he die of?
Kind of a young man, cancer. He succumbed to cancer. It was reported a couple of days ago that he was back in the hospital, that he had a reboot or a rebout or whatever of the cancer. We lost Gene Siskel about, it's got to be over a decade now, because I was still in Chicago when Gene Siskel died. And Gene Siskel was long Roger Ebert's partner. It was Siskel and Ebert.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's the name I was trying to think of.
Now, Gene...
They were together for a long time.
They together created the entire industry that is now film criticism. It was those two teaming up, one from one paper in town, the other from the other paper in town. They were a local Chicago film review show, and it got picked up nationally, and it became Siskel and Ebert at the movies.
Give it 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, actually, it started out being called Siskel and Ebert at the Movies, which ran for like 15 years, was the second show. Sneak previews, maybe it was called Siskel and Ebert Sneak Previews, whatever, I don't know. But Gene Siskel was awesome. Gene Siskel was really cool. Gene Siskel I also had occasion to meet through my job in Chicago radio, before he died. And that was a guy that was always really fun and really up, kind of snob, kind of like Frasier, man. I used to say the character of Frasier was totally based on Gene Siskel, at least as far as I knew him. And Gene Siskel was around the radio station more than Roger Ebert was. So I got to see and got to know him a little bit more. But yeah, he died really young too. He died do you know that he and his college roommate, check this out. Gene Siskel and his college roommate died of the exact same thing within like a year of one another.
Whoa.
It was like a brain tumor. And his college roommate was also an iconic Chicago media personality.
What?
They both went on. One guy went on to be Gene Siskel, the famous film reviewer, and his roommate went on to be a guy named Tim Weigel, who you guys wouldn't know here, but Tim Weigel was a big deal in Chicago sports. It's like the Dale Hansen. Remember, Dale Hansen?
Yeah.
Like the Dale Hansen of Chicago sports.
Okay.
But yeah, they both died. They were college roommates, and they both died of the same kind of brain cancer.
Wow.
I wonder what was going on in the dorms at Yale back then, because that's where it was. It was Yale University in the 1960s.
Don't get me going, man. Isn't that where the skull and bones are?
Yeah, Yale, Harvard. Maybe they said to him, all right, look, you guys are going to have really good success in the field of your choice as long as you just drink the tap water here while you're living in the Yale dorms. We're doing some experimenting. And then 30 years later. But in return, 30 years later, you might have the same kind of brain cancer. But those 30 years, you'll be really successful. You'll have every obstacle cleared. We'll make sure that you succeed.
Would you do it if you knew?
No. And I'll tell you why. I might have taken that a couple of years ago. But now that I have a 3-year-old son, no. I want to live to be 100 now. Because I want, I was 39 when I had my kid. So I need to I need him to be at least 50 when I go. I want to see him. I want to see him, have kids and stuff. I want to make sure that he's okay and that he's doing what he wants to do and everything worked out well for him. Then I can go. But for me, that's going to be 50. I mean, he's going to have to be 50. That would make me 89. So I got to make it to 90. So, no, I would not have taken that bet. Because Siskel went when he was 55, maybe? Way too young. Very, very young. Let me find out. I'm going to Wikipedia. I don't know how old Gene Siskel was. But he just seems... Roger Ebert. Sorry, we're talking about Roger Ebert, who passed away today. Let me see. How old was he? Of course, Wikipedia is going to have it updated. Yep, April 4th, 2013 is the day he died.
Oh, yeah, dude, they're always on it.
He was 70. Roger Ebert was 70.
Oh, that's good life.
70. That would mean my son would be 29? 70? 31. Oh, man. Oh, my pizza math is totally failing me right now. Why? Because it's something I choose not to think about. All right, cancer, recurrence, and death. All right, let's see what it says here. On April 2nd, 2013, just a couple of days ago, Roger Ebert wrote online that his past hip fracture has been revealed to be a cancer, and he was receiving radiation treatment. He wrote he would take a leave of presence from some of his activities due to the recurrence of his cancer. He died today from that recurrence and is survived by his wife, Chaz Hamelsmith. So yeah, today is April 4th. On April 2nd, he wrote that. On April 2nd, he wrote that I'm going to suspend. So he worked and was writing up until 2 days before he died.
Wow. It's a good life.
That's a good life. You know what? Hey, you know what, Roger Ebert? Good for you, dude. You good life. I'm sorry you had that rocky thing at the end. And okay, you were a dick to me, but maybe, you had a right to be mad. I don't know.
Yeah, he could have been having a bad day those 2 days.
Dude, it was like 2 days, like a year apart. Totally different situations. He treated me like crap. All right, well. All right, quick, let's play a song. Let's take a break. Okay, and then we'll come back and we'll do Magic Johnson, Magic Johnson's son. We'll talk about E.J. Johnson. Magic Johnson's son is out of the closet. He is loud and proud. And let's listen to what Magic Johnson has to say about all of that. Dealing with a gay son. We'll be back. A little bit more. HireAHero.org presents PMS, the Pugs Moran Show on DeepElemOnAir.com. Oh, I like this. This is that Cutting Crew cover. DeepElemOnAir.com.
I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. I keep looking for something I can't get. Broken hearts lie all around me, and I don't see an easy way to get out of this. Her diary sits on the bedside table. The curtains are closed, the cat's in the cradle. Who would have thought that a boy like me could come to this? Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. I should have walked away. Is there any just cause for feeling like this? On the surface I'm a name on the list. I tried to be discreet, but then blow it again. Lost and found, it's my final mistake. She's loving my proxy, no give it or take. Cause I've been through too fantasy one too many times. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. Should have walked away. It was a long, long night. She made me think, she made me feel right. Now it's over, the moment has gone. While my hands on my head, I know I was wrong. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been something you said. I just died in your arms tonight. Oh, whoa, I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. I should have walked away. Should have walked away. I just died in your arms tonight. It must have been some kind of kiss. Just should have walked away. I should have walked away.
that's a heavy transition from a Cutting Crew cover. That's Colossus of Rhodes. I just died in your arms tonight.
It's a good one.
To Dust in the Wind.
Right there.
See, Will Ferrell. Come on. I can't hear this song without thinking of Will Ferrell in Old School.
Yeah.
This is blues song.
Yeah, you're right. He was great in that.
He was great in a lot of things, man. He's just
I just
funny.
think of like
He's just
Anchorman and
come on, Anchorman's funny.
No.
What?
No.
What?
No.
Oh, Anchorman's great.
And then what's the one where he's the race Ricky Bobby?
Oh man, Shake and Bake! Are you kidding me? You didn't like Daytona
No,
Nights?
I did not. I did
wait,
not.
what's that? That's
I don't
called
know.
Daytona
Something
Nights.
like that.
That movie's greatness.
No.
How about Step Brothers? Step Brothers is awesome.
It was
John
better
C.
than
Reilly,
those two.
John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell as grown man children forced to accept one another as stepbrothers. They're in their 30s and they're in bunk beds. Come on, that's funny. Come on. Those two guys are very funny together, man. I know you say you don't like Daytona Nights. I love John C. Reilly. I think John C. Reilly makes everything better. Walk Hard. I just saw that recently for the 15th billionth time.
I hadn't seen that one.
Walk Hard,
Yeah.
the parody of Johnny Cash's Walk the Line
Yeah.
with John C. Reilly as the Johnny Cash type character. All right, delving back quickly into the Facebook page there, I'd be remiss if I didn't address a couple more that people were posting up today. First of all, Richard Kerr, the failure of the monetary-based economy and how to transition into a resource-based economy. Not a clue, Richard, sorry. Mark Sherrick, have you talked about Lindsay Lohan's choice to stay in South America where she's been drinking and drugging it up hardcore? I
thought she was in rehab.
Yeah, no, I don't know that to be true. I thought she came back from Brazil where she was doing a club opening a while ago, like a week ago or a couple days ago. Maybe she went back. I have no idea. Carrie Donahue Tvarchik has a couple of questions here. She wants to know, what has happened to American Idol? Why is it dying off? Well, oversaturation of, I think, music shows and talent shows has caused a lot of the erosion to American Idol's audience. I also think that, they had something with Simon and Paula and Randy. And, that was just a moment in time. Nothing stays number one forever. I still enjoy American Idol from time to time, although I don't watch it as religiously as I used to. I used to watch every season of American Idol like a sporting event. To me, I used to describe it as a horse race. Early on, I would pick my horse that I was following, and every week it would be, don't get cut, don't get cut, don't get cut. I mean, it was dramatic. It worked on that level. I enjoyed it. I don't really do that so much anymore. I don't watch. I mean, I've watched a couple of episodes this season with Nicki Minaj, and I love Nicki Minaj. She is such a train wreck. I love her. Oh yeah, you like Nicki Minaj too. We watched her last night. Funny lady with crazy hair.
Hey, didn't Stern host American Idol at one point?
No, Stern is hosting America's Got Talent.
Is he still on that or no?
I don't know. I've never watched that show. That's an awful show. You know what? Tastes change. Things change. I think the era of American Idol is over, and it was a decade-strong run, man. Can't be a number one thing forever. Even Gunsmoke went off the air. Yeah, you're just mocking me now. Okay, she also wants to know, do kids these days have to play select youth baseball and abandon city rec ball in order to play on high school teams and or college? Skill level, money, coaching, question mark? Kara, I don't know. That sounds like something personal. That sounds like something you need to take up at the end of your driveway with your neighbors. I have no idea what you're talking about. And finally, from Carrie, her last question, does Tom Cruise still have it? What do other people think of him as a movie star? Has his personal life affected the box office? Does Tom Cruise still have it, Jedi?
I'm going to say no. I definitely don't like him anymore. It's creeped me out.
There's this new movie with Morgan Freeman that he's in that I'll see.
Yeah, I'll see all his stuff, unfortunately. Because
Yeah.
it's always, if he's in it, it's going to be a big production. But it's always like, why is he in it?
He was, Tom Cruise was pretty great in Tropic Thunder. You probably don't even remember him.
Yeah,
in
I do.
Tropic
I
Thunder.
do.
He was the studio exec. He was bald. He was fat. He was obnoxious. He was unrecognizable. He played so against the Tom Cruise. He was so funny in that as the over the top, power mad, obese, balding, bejeweled studio exec who was angry that the movie was over budget and all of that stuff. He's very funny in that. I don't know. Really, has his personal life affected his bankability? For me, it has, and I think you just said the same thing. I see Tom Cruise as kind of a creep.
Yeah.
As kind of a weirdo. Katie Holmes, whether it is accurate or not, the public perception of her is Joey from Dawson's Creek. Or wait, is that who she played? The
Sure.
girl next door. She's America's girl next door. Katie Holmes is the girl that every American, she's the one that got away. The girl that you didn't commit to and you both went off to different colleges and met other. She represents that in the eyes of Americans. And Tom Cruise got her all skanky and weirded out with Scientology and blah. So I think that there is some backlash. I think that the fact that she divorced him says a lot in the eyes of the people. And again, Katie Holmes could be a huge bitch. In fact, I've heard that she is a huge bitch. But her perception is that she's such a cute and sweet girl next door, and Tom Cruise was all weird.
But it is the whole Scientology thing, right?
Yeah,
That's what's kind of creepy
absolutely.
about it, yeah.
Absolutely it is. I mean, after I saw that sit-down interview that he did about Scientology, where he talked about driving past an accident on the road, and because he's a Scientologist, he knows that he has to help, that it's not even a question. He has to pull over, and he has to help because there is something that he can do that will save that man's life. And only he knows this. And only people like him that are at his level in Scientology can understand what he's talking. See, it's that kind of weird stuff. And he was public about that. I mean, that was a public conversation that he had. It wasn't in private. And then there's all these things that are, go on and on about his personal life. And they've all been sort of substantiated by multiple sources. About how after Nicole Kidman, David Miscavige, the ruling body of the Church of Scientology, and Tom Cruise's best friend, went out and recruited his next wife, that Katie Holmes was just one of many women who were interviewed for the role of being. Basically, it's like,
man.
It's like he was paired up with somebody. It's just weird. I personally. And I don't know. I don't see this as a derogatory thing, so I hope that Mr. Cruise doesn't either. I think he's gay. I do. I think that Tom Cruise is gay, and maybe he's uncomfortable with that, and I can understand why. He's a guy of a certain age that came up at a time when it wasn't as acceptable as it is now. But I think he is. And again, there's nothing pejorative about that. I think that's great. I think he might think there's something wrong with it. That's why he sues everybody who comes out and says he is. But I don't know. It just seems like he might be.
Plus, it was the whole Oprah thing, too. Remember the Oprah interview?
Yeah, look, you know what?
That's pretty creepy.
That's when he jumped up on the couch. He's like, I love Katie Holmes. He was going crazy. Look, that's someone like me. If I had Katie Holmes, that would be the expected response. But not Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, has had hotter chicks than Katie Holmes. He's like, oh, I love her. It's like he was trying a little too hard to make us think that he was, I don't know. So, yeah, I think that's true. Let's see if there's anything else. There's a lot of jokey ones. Amber Brooke McDonald, I always want to hear you break down the Housewives. In particular, the Orange County Housewives. The new season started Monday. Well, Amber, I'm sorry to have to report, but I no longer watch any of the Housewives franchises. Jedi, this is a big deal too, boy. I could tell you anything you needed to know about the first couple of seasons of New York, Orange County, Atlanta, New Jersey. Now let me draw a line here. I could be sucked back into watching the New Jersey Housewives because they are by far just the best of all the Housewives. They are so entertaining. And they're kind of like, I don't know. They seem to me the most normal, although they're all these fabulously wealthy people. No, I'm sorry, Amber. I watch those shows when I'm in a relationship, when I have to watch certain shows just to share TV time. But if I don't have to share TV time, it turns out that I hardly ever watch Bravo now. When I'm in a relationship with a girl or when I was married, I watched Bravo a lot. Because, I couldn't have it on ESPN all the time because she lives there too. And she's got to watch some stuff. So we watched a lot of Everybody Loves Raymond on TBS and a lot of Bravo the rest of the time. And I got really hooked on the Bravo Housewives shows. But yeah, I'm sorry. Alas, Amber, not really watching them anymore. I'm so sorry to report. All right, one of the last things that we're going to do here today, we're going to talk a little bit about Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson's son, EJ, came out of the closet. Now, if you're a Magic Johnson fan, you may know EJ. I feel like I've seen EJ grow up. He's always at, excuse me. You're excused, buddy. Magic Johnson's a very proud father of EJ's entire life. And EJ had like a really interesting look for a little kid. He had these great big Coke bottle glasses. He was kind of a fat kid. He looked like, Ralphie from A Christmas Story?
Yeah.
He looked like the black version of Ralphie from A Christmas Story. So you remembered when you saw Magic Johnson's kid, because he was really cute. Well, EJ grew up. He's a young man now. And EJ is fabulous. How about we put it that way? And I guess he came out publicly recently to, maybe it was TMZ. TMZ caught EJ, Magic Johnson's son, walking into a club with his boyfriend and said, "Hey, EJ, are you gay?" or something like that. I don't know how it came about. You seeing a picture of him?
That's the picture of him and his boyfriend.
Yeah, okay, so that's Magic's kid. So, so it became public. He was outed, and then now Magic's got to respond. And, of course, we've got all this talk about gay players in professional sports. Magic Johnson, of course, a basketball legend, as well as being the owner now of the Los Angeles Dodgers baseball team. So, I mean, Magic Johnson, his opinion on the whole gay thing is probably important, considering that he's one of the most respected people to ever play basketball, and now an owner in Major League Baseball. So when his own son comes out, you want to hear what he has to say. So let's give this a listen. This is Magic Johnson sitting down. He's talking with Harvey from TMZ, Magic Johnson, on the coming out of his son, EJ Johnson. Oops, sorry. I'll do a little. My bad.
And, it's interesting when you're his parents, and we finally had to sit down and talk about it, and I told him, look, I'm going to love you regardless. Just let me know, are you or aren't you? And then finally he just said, yes, I am.
So you initiated it?
Yes, because he wasn't going to come to me with it, and so I think Cookie and I just said, you know what, we should sit him down, because also we want to protect him too, and so I just took him through the birds and the bees talk. And make sure, hey, you protect yourself, protect your partner. And then also, what do you think about what your friends and people are going to say once you tell them, or have you told anybody? So at that time, he had really never discussed it with anybody but his two closest friends.
How old was he?
And he had to be about 12, 13 years old, 14 years old, And so it was, I think, a hard conversation only because he was so young, and what do you tell him at that age, and what do you say to him? And so, but other than that, I told him, hey, we are here to support you, man. We're gonna love you no matter who you are, what you do. We just want you to love yourself, and also make sure that you have all the information. And that's what I wanted to give him, just provide him with advice and guidance.
Did you become a confidant of his as he was coming out more publicly?
Yeah, in a different way. It's interesting. When I showed my support and love for him, and I told him, hey, I'm good with it. Just be you. He went like, because, okay, Dad is okay, because he really wanted to make sure I was okay. He wasn't worried about his mom. He was worried about me. And once I supported him, then he could talk more about it.
Was it because you were such a huge sports star and there was that kind of aura.
Exactly. And I think he was worried about what would I think. Am I going to change toward him or something like that? And I love EJ so much. That's my main man. So I told him, I said, nothing has changed. I just want to help you along the way because a lot of people are going to be happy for you. Then some won't understand. So you have to remember, always talk to me, always talk to your mother, and we'll just help you along the way.
Did he have a tough time?
You know
as time went on?
As time went on, I think he really wanted to be out, but he was torn. Okay, should I come out and say I'm gay? Not hold it. But actually, I would have to say that TMZ really helped him. This was a good moment for us as a family and a greater moment for him. I think now he's just the bubbly kid we knew again, and he's just happy that it is out.
And when he kind of did it, you know, where we were on the street, you know, he did it in a way that was unmistakable, that he wanted to make that statement.
Yeah. You know, Harvey, young people struggle, right? They struggle, especially when you're sitting there and you know you want to tell the world, but he just didn't know how. He just didn't know how everybody else, not his family, because we already knew how everybody else was going to react. So I think he just said, you know what, this is my moment, this is my time. I'm happy to share with the world who I am. And I said, go, EJ, go. You know, I'm behind him 1,000,000%. This is really wonderful for him.
Magic Johnson talking about his son EJ, who recently came out to TMZ cameras on the streets of LA. I think any gay person in the world would be lucky to have a father like Magic Johnson. Not only for the obvious reasons of the lifestyle he can provide, but that's a pretty cool, you know, the way he's going public with it. I mean, this was really forced upon the family. It wasn't, you know, it broke on TMZ a couple days ago. And suddenly the family's now got to answer it. So he went to TMZ and he said, let's talk about it. You want to talk about my kid? All right, come on. I'll tell you how proud I am of him. I'll tell you about how I support him.
It's awesome.
Magic Johnson is really someone you cannot write off. I mean, okay, first of all, spectacular basketball player. Arguably one of the 5 greatest basketball players ever in the history of the game. What Magic Johnson did for the NBA, sure, Michael Jordan took the NBA global. But before Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came out, and one joined an East Coast team and the other joined the West Coast team, NBA Finals games, Jansen, think about this. The NBA championship, the NBA Finals games were played on CBS on tape delay at 10:30 at night after the news. Before Magic and Larry.
Wow.
It was Magic and Larry who revitalized the whole league, one on the East Coast, one on the West Coast. And the NBA went, whoa, wait a second. Now we can put these games in prime time.
Wow.
The NBA will be something.
I didn't even know that.
Oh, yeah. Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, they are tied at the hip. They built the NBA into what Michael Jordan then took global. Michael Jordan came along a couple of years later, picked up where Bird and Magic had started, and went global with it. The other thing about Magic Johnson is, do you know what he has done for AIDS? I mean, I know he came down with HIV, and that was a big shock 20 or so years ago, but the fact that he has been able to physically thrive and not deteriorate and waste away the way we had seen those horrific images and what our notions were of people who had HIV. I mean, he has tirelessly been an advocate for HIV/AIDS, all at the same time becoming one of the most successful African-American businessmen in America. He has done more to revitalize bad black neighborhoods from coast to coast than any other single person. So, all right, let's run this down. Amazing basketball player. Built the NBA with Larry Bird. Tireless warrior for AIDS and HIV research and charity and all of that. Black businessman supreme. Every black neighborhood in America has a strip mall, an abandoned parking lot that Magic Johnson came into, purchased, turned into a strip mall, and anchored it with one of his Magic Johnson movie theaters. There aren't Magic Johnson movie theaters in white neighborhoods. He has dedicated all of his business and all of his money into the African American community. He has given back. And now, the latest thing about his son, he's just a cool guy about it. He's just like, hey. I want to play one more thing from him on this subject. This is Magic Johnson talking to TMZ. The question this time is, the black community has not been very kind to gay acceptance. You know about it's like the worst thing in the black community is you could be gay, and that's why there's all this down low stuff going on.
Oh, yeah, man.
All right, let's listen to this. This is Magic Johnson on the anti-gay haters and criticisms from the black community about his son coming out.
There were some African American blogs where people were commenting, and it was harsh. I mean, there were some harsh, even mean comments on these blogs, which I'm sure you know about. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, well, see, that's where it's tough, because what happens in our community, when you think about religion comes into play. And so that's when he's going to get attacked, But look, I don't care who's attacking my son. I'm going to still support him. I'm going to still love him. And he's a good kid, a good young man. And this is what he has decided to do. So as I told him, once he comes out, expect some of this. We knew this was going to happen. Because in our community, we frown down on gays.
Why is that?
Community. It's because of, again, we go back to we're such involved in our church and the religion. And Cookie and I go to church every Sunday. So we're involved in that. But this is our son. So we're going to support our son. We're going to love our son.
You are probably the most active businessman in the African American community. You've done an unbelievable amount for that community. Does it in any way bother you that they're not paying it back to you by doing this to your son, at least the people who are commenting on these blogs?
You know what, Harvey? It bothers me that they're discriminating against anybody who's gay. See, I've been in the gay movement for a long time because of HIV and AIDS with me. And so I've seen young men who are black who couldn't come out, who couldn't tell their parents. They were fearful what happened, the neighbors, everybody down the street. So now it's my son now, right? And so I'm hoping that they understand this is year 2013. And so we should stop discriminating against people and just support them. And that's what I'm going to do with my son. I'm going to support him, but I also support others. And I think this is going to be good for a lot of black young people who want to come out. He's going to be that symbol and that symbol of hope that they can now come, tell their parents, tell their friends, both men and women. I think this is going to be important. So EJ is really going to help a lot of young people.
What do you think about Kobe Bryant telling us how much he respects you, admires you, that you're so loving and he's so supportive?
But I just love Kobe. Kobe, I wish that everybody was like Kobe in terms of just, hey, I'm a dad, I'm going to love my son, I'm going to support my son. And for him, a superstar and a guy who has just dominated the game of basketball, to come out and support me as well as my son, it just says a lot about the man, Kobe Bryant. And it's unfortunate that we have to go through some of this negative stuff, but it's not going to change me. It's not going to change my son and the way I love him, the way I'm going to support him, or Cookie's support for our son and our love. And so if people can't understand it, that's on them. It's not on EJ. It's not on our family. That's on them.
That's the other thing about this. He talks about his wife, Cookie. Magic Johnson, he got HIV from banging every Laker groupie that he could find back in the 80s. And that was when he was married to Cookie. He cheated on his wife with everybody. And then he brought AIDS or HIV back into the bedroom. The family bedroom. And maybe it was EJ that she was pregnant with at the time that he came out. I think he was. I think because when Magic came out as being HIV, she was pregnant. And I think it probably was with EJ. And there were some concerns that, the baby would be born infected. And turned out, luckily, he wasn't. Because Cookie wasn't. And
okay, so she's not infected.
No,
okay.
She's not. No. They've obviously practiced safe sex, and it's been effective. But, man, that's good. It's good. You know what? I don't think anybody would have thought that they would have stayed together. Look, there's a lot of money in being the ex-wife of Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson is worth billions. Magic Johnson is a billionaire.
Magic Johnson.
Yeah. You divorce Magic Johnson in the state of California, and that's a 50-50. And she had public confirmation that he cheated on her. She could have taken him for everything. She didn't. They stayed together 20-something years later. They seem like a very happy, loving couple. So good for them. All right. Nothing but positives to say about Magic Johnson. I was never really a Laker fan, but I was always a Magic Johnson fan. Anything in closing that you want to get to here?
We got the Arts Fest tomorrow.
Ooh. Now, we're going to be broadcasting this show live from the Arts Fest?
Yes.
We are?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we get an art?
What?
Are you doing art?
Yeah, this is going to be a problem with him. Should we not do a show?
Yeah, we should probably, yeah.
All right, so...
Yeah, because I'm leaving here at 8 a.m. to head down there, so...
All right, stay tuned to the Facebook page. We'll figure this out, because I would really like to do a show, but not having a place to contain him, and with the way the weather's been...
Now, one thing that we are doing...
Where are you doing the show
this
from?
weekend? Well, we have two different locations. One might not be so good for you because it's by the music stage. However, we're doing Bottoms Up from Uncle Uber's.
What is that?
And what is what? Uncle Uber's?
Yeah.
Uncle Uber's is
I
the
know.
sandwich
Yeah,
shop.
okay, yeah, sure, I know that.
Right next to Buzzbirds.
Bottoms Up is a show.
Is our beer show.
That's Dell's show, right? Isn't Dell
show.
on that?
Yeah. So we can talk after the show.
Yeah.
Figure something out.
I'm gonna have the kid. I don't know if the kid's gonna be good for a beer drinking show.
Well, we can have Cat maybe. Well, we'll figure it out. Yeah.
All right, Mason. All right, put Mason's microphone on. Talk like a gentleman into the microphone, please, son.
Sure.
Okay. Put your headphones on. Lean in so I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Anything you'd like to say in closing?
I can't.
You can't what?
I'm just gonna talk.
You don't want to tell people about Chinese chickens?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The boogies.
What about it?
Well, Chinese, it's like chickens. Like ducks.
Our neighborhood is infested with these like Mandarin geese that fly into our neighborhood, and we call them Chinese chickens because they look like chickens, but they're geese, Mandarin geese. They're
Are those the ones that are like the red face?
Yeah, they have the red like giblet face.
Yeah, those are scary.
They look like chicken faces. You like that?
Yeah.
So our neighborhood's infested with Chinese chickens.
Those things are mean, man. They will chase you.
I know they don't get out of the road. As we're coming around a little bend in our neighborhood, little residential neighborhood, there's like 50 of them all walking across the road. They wouldn't leave. Remember, they were everywhere. All the Chinese chickens.
Yeah.
Yeah. We see a coyote too?
Oh yes.
Yeah. How big was the coyote?
Like this big.
Yeah.
Wait, where are you at? Where you seeing a coyote?
Right
over
a couple blocks
here?
From here? Yeah.
That's spooky.
Yeah. Yeah, the coyote was running out of Boogie's house.
She's right by. See why you right by those trees. Right by those trees.
Yeah, they were coming out of the trees over behind Boogie's backyard. All right, Mason, I don't know what else to say other than you were a fine co-host. You behaved very, very gentlemanly today. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
You're welcome. You want to say goodbye to anybody?
Bye.
Bye who?
Bye everybody.
Okay, we'll be back possibly tomorrow, but don't hold your breath. We'll figure it out. Special weekend, DeepElemOnAir.com broadcasting shows emanating from Deep Ellum Art Fest this weekend. Find out more, go to DeepElemOnAir.com and check out my Facebook page, John Pugs, to see where and when. I think just as of right now, next show will be on Monday. Yeah, we'll look at it that way. Okay, folks, have a great week. We're out of here. HireAHero.org has presented today's edition of the PMS show. Pugs Moran. Hey, that's me, exclusively on DeepElemOnAir.com.
local, in your neighborhood.
I want to try something radical.
This is Deep Ellum On Air, serving the DFW Metroplex. Live, deepelumonair.com.